Good morning. Hey, I'm Steve Weber. Welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show, broadcasting from Boulder, Colorado. One last day here in Boulder. I'm about to get ready to get in a car and drive to Kansas City, but I wanted to just come on and update you all and let you know that where I'm at. So anyway, last night let's properly start the show. Welcome to the show, Steve Weber. Broadcasting the American Gumption Morning Show on Spirituality Gone Wild. And this is my episode number 9 of my drive across America. It's been a 3.5-week journey, or it's going to be a 3.5-week journey. And I'm about, I'm actually 2 weeks into it. So I got another week and a half or so to go. So kind of wrapping it up, almost into the tail end of it. A few more days and it'll be the final week. So anyway, I've been in Boulder the last 4 days. And I arrived here Sunday night, I should say, last 3 days. And so today I'm going to go ahead and get in the car and drive to Kansas City and stay with Brother John and sister-in-law Rosemary for the next couple of days through the weekend. And then after that, not 100% sure, but got a pretty good idea of where I'm going next week. So I'll fill you in on that once I get to Kansas City and get a better handle on where I'm heading next week. But anyway, it's been a great 2 weeks so far on the road. Last week was in Southern California. This week, of course, up here in Boulder. Yesterday, or the last couple of days with Monday and Tuesday with Angie LaRue in the Crystal Sanctum. And then yesterday, I ended up going and meeting nephew Jake and Callie in Denver, downtown Denver, at the Bubba Gump restaurant. So that is there we go. Let's throw up here. That's what today. Whoops, that's not it. Here we are. That was it. On the road, episode 9, dinner at Bubba Gumps. This is what we're going to just share you a little bit about. And I got a couple of photos. And I got stumped on the trivia questions. I can't believe it. I thought I was the ringer. And actually, Jake and Callie were pretty good too. So they were a bit of experts on the movie also. So we were pretty cocky there, thinking we were going to get it in the 2 different questions. So I'll tell you, I'll share that all what that was all about. So anyway, as I said, I think I got everything taken care of as far as all of the what's happening next week, and the fact that here I am broadcasting on Spirituality Gone Wild. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and shift this and then jump right into the actual telling you about what I wanted to tell you about. So anyway, Jake and Callie live in downtown Denver, and so I'm up in Boulder. So I wanted to go down into the Denver area and meet with them, which is exactly what I did. And so then we're like, well, where are we going to eat? And of course, there's a Bubba Gump down there. I hadn't been there since 2008. When it was actually the grand opening. And the general manager, Sean O'Donnell, is a fellow I worked with for many years at, gosh, I don't remember what restaurants he was at, where I originally met him. Maybe he worked in San Francisco, but I don't even, it's all blurred together. It's been so many years. But anyway, Sean went to Denver to open the Bubba Gump, and he's been there, all this time. So I gave him, I contacted him through social media, said I was in town, and he said, sure, stop on by. But he, had to leave at 5 o'clock. So it turned out that I wasn't able to see him, but he let one of the other managers, Jacqueline, know that I was coming in. So I was on the VIP list. So that felt pretty cool. So drove down there, met them. Now, Jake and Callie ended up walking from their apartment down there. It was about a half-hour walk, maybe about a 2-mile walk. But they're young and in good shape, and they didn't have any trouble. It was a beautiful evening. Weather was clear, a little bit it's winter, or the tail end of winter, but gosh, temperature was probably in the 50s at least, so it was a pleasant time. So anyway, we get to the restaurant. And of course, it's the first time I'm meeting Callie. And we all order an appetizer, the boiled shrimp, and enjoyed that. We all ordered a shrimp dish. I think Callie got the coconut shrimp. Jake got the Shrimper 7, which is a combination of some coconut shrimp and some fried shrimp and some other kind of, I don't know, what it all was. A bunch of food, of course. And then I had the scampi, which a pasta, which had shrimp, sauteed shrimp, mixed in with it, and a light sauce. So it was great. It was something that was on the menu all those, well, the Shrimpers Heaven wasn't exactly on the menu when I was there, maybe a version of that. But the coconut shrimp certainly had been on the menu since day one, and the scampi has always been around. So anyway, that was it. I talked to Jackal and the manager, and they actually closed down for about 4 months last year when COVID first hit, and then they reopened in, I think, July. And she said they're doing okay now. They're not up to the business that they would normally have been at, but they're right next to the convention center. Denver has a huge convention center, and Bubba Gump is right next to it. So that was really where they did the lion's share of their business at that location, from, people visiting Denver, attending face-to-face conferences, conventions, and of course that's sort of, well, she said it's starting to come back. So we'll see how that all goes. But of course that all got shut down in the last year, and then of course the other hotels in the area all support the convention business, and so it's been a bit of a crazy year. So going to wrap this little monologue up, and this is going to be a short show, but I've got to tell you about the trivia questions. So let me go ahead and do a screen share, because I got a couple pictures here I can share. Let's see how I know how to do this. I'm still figuring it all out, though. Of course, I think that's going to work. Let's try it. Is that? There we are. Yeah. So there's a picture of Jake Weber, my nephew, brother Ken's son, and Callie Parrish. Jake and Callie have been hanging out together for a year or so. Now Callie is great, because Callie lived in Montana. She lived in Missoula, Montana. She attended grad school there, so we have a connection there. We had lots to talk about that way. She's originally from Wyoming, and then was in Southern California, and now in the Denver area. But anyway, she did her grad school work in Missoula, Montana, at the University of Montana. So we had a great conversation about that and some other things too. But the trivia, of course, if you've never been to a Bubba Gump, the waiters will ask you trivia questions, and so they start out with easy questions, because some people, don't have a clue. What's life like? A box of chocolates. And so anyway, went through all of that. We were nailing those. And so the waiter instantly knew that we were ringers and that we knew our stuff. And so then he goes in for the juggler and the hard questions. And so he says, all right, what was Forrest Gump's number on the football team? And of course I knew it, and I gave the hint to Jake and Callie. I flashed 4-4, and they answered that. And then the waiter says, all right, why was it that he had that number? Why was it that Forrest Gump had the number 44? And I'm like, oh man, I never heard that before. And that's not been part of the movie. I've watched that movie inside, outside, upside down, written 200 or more blog posts on it over the years. So I don't remember ever discussing why he was number 44. And he says, oh, it's because it's Forrest Gump's birthday. And I'm like, Forrest Gump's birthday? I don't know about that. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I remember, like, I have pictures of Jenny's grave and Bubba's grave, and both of those were both Jenny and Bubba were born in 1945, at least from my memory, from the gravestone, because I remember zooming in on it and getting there, figuring it out at one point along the way. So I'm thinking, no, they're all born in 1945. And then I come back to the hotel and I look, and sure enough, I don't know, where this ever came from, but Forrest was born on June 6th. Or June, can't even read that. June 6, 1944, it says. So I'm like, okay, well, he was right. I was actually saying, I said, well, I think it's 1945, because Jenny and Bubba were both born in 1945. Well, Forrest was held back a year, I guess, in school. He wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Maybe that explains all of that. So I learned something new. I was wrong. The waiter was he was correct. And so, I want to acknowledge him for stumping me on that. So as if that wasn't enough, he then says, what was the belt buckle that Forrest Gump wore in the movie? And I'm like, the belt buckle that Forrest Gump wore? How in the world, how would we ever see the belt buckle that he wore? Well, in that restaurant, they have a giant picture of Forrest sitting on the bench, and they told me where it was, and I went and looked at it, and sure enough, there in the I don't know if you can see it, but here's the chocolate box. That far, there's the ribbon of the chocolate box, and there is the belt buckle that you can kind of see peeked on. And again, this is like hugely blown up, and I had never noticed that before. I never heard of that. Anyway, the belt buckle was Mount Rushmore, and apparently Forrest was wearing that. So two questions that he stumped me on, and I was like thinking, oh man, this guy's good. He knows more about the movie than I do. All righty, so that's it. So that was my experience with Jake and Callie at the Bubba Gump restaurant, and the trivia questions that got me stumped on that whole Forrest Gump movie. Who would have thought? Who would have known those obscure details? All righty. Well, that's really all I'm going to do this morning. I wasn't even sure when I woke up whether I was going to do anything, but that's what we did. Now I'm going to get in the car, and I've got 600 miles to go, and that's about a 8 or 9 hour drive over to Kansas City. So that's my plan for the day. So I'll wrap up this show early, get out of here, and get on the way there to Kansas City, and then I'll be on Central Time. And so then it'll be easier to do my shows because it won't be at 7 like it was when I was in California last week, and it won't be at 8 like it's been this week in Boulder. It'll be at 9 o'clock in the morning. So there you go. Alrighty, that's it. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I will see you. Planning to do a show tomorrow, so we'll probably do something. We'll figure out what to say. So, all right, have a great rest of your day, and see you tomorrow from Kansas City.